So yesterday, Be'ezer Hashem, we finished our learning of Daf Ayin Gimel, but trying to remember if we start Ayin Daled. Let's see. No, I think we just got up to Ayin Daled. So let's just review so that we could zoom in here on, pardon the pun, okay, on Ayin Daled. The Gemara raised the kasha, and the Gemara is now investigating possible answers to that kasha. And the first one was the answer of Rav Chizda, I believe it was. Yeah. Okay. So the Gemara had presented a stira between our Mishnah and a Mishnah Ksubis. And the issue is what's called chayve krisus, or in one particular scenario, habal achoso. Now, our Mishnah establishes, based on a drasha called chet, that in a case of a person who's rodef for gilia rayas with chayve krisus, you kill him if necessary, which means that he's a rodef, he has a chiv misa. And yet the Mishnah in Ksubis establishes that if a man has a relationship with his own sister, a rape relationship or a pitui, then he pays a knas. And the halacha is that if you're chayav misa, you don't pay a knas. So Rav Chizda, in reconciling this apparent contradiction, he says the following, that as far as the chiyuv misa as a rodef, that is already at tchilas bia, but his chiyuv for knas is only generated with gemar bia, and therefore at the time of tchilas bia, he is a rodef and he's chayav misa, but at the time that he generates a chiyuv mamon, a chiyuv knas, that's only a gemar bia. And it's not considered kimlev de rabimine because these two chiyuvim emerge in sequence and not simultaneously. Rav, on the other hand, said that the Mishnah Ksubis is talking about a case where he's not a rodef at all. And why is that? Because that Mishnah Ksubis reflects the shita of Yehuda, who says that if she says mani chaso, leave him alone, shelo yargera, and there's no chiyuv misa, and there's no din of road. So we're up to our papa now. On daf ayin daled nominal. For papa omar b'mefuta, divrei akol, b'divrei akol, meaning the Mishnah Ksubis is talking about mefuta, and mefuta gets a knas, and the halach is ein matzilin oso b'nafsha. So the answer of Rav Papa is coming to replace and substitute for the answer of Rava, and for that matter, for the answer of Abaye. And the reason for that is because not everyone agrees that there's a difference between Shas Ha'ora and Shas Gmar Bia. If you hold that Ha'ora is Neshika, that's okay. But if you hold that Ha'ora is Hachnas Satara, then both Chiyuvim are Chal simultaneously. And also, according to Rava, we're forced to introduce the Shita Rabbi Yehuda, which is a Das Yachid. Rav Chizda wants to square with all the opinions. That's called Divrei Akol. And how? Because we're talking about mafuta. And in the case of mafuta, even the Chachamim of Rabbi Yehuda agree that there's no din of chiyuv misa. There's no din of rodef. And then we get to Abai. Abai says we can reconcile this apparent contradiction without having to introduce mafuta. We could talk about an anusa, but biyochol lahatzil biyechad meivarav. For Rabbi Yonasan ben Sholhi, the Sanya Rabbi Yonasan ben Shol Omer, rodef shayu rodef acher chavero lahargo biyochol latzilo biyechad meivarav v'lo hitzil nerag olav. That there's no automatic license to kill the rodef. We kill the rodef if there's no other option and no other possible method of saving the nirdaf. But if there's a possibility of saving the nirdaf without killing the rodef, that's called nitan latzilo b'echad meivarav, right? If you're familiar with the phrase "shoot for the legs," right? So in such a case, if he kills him and he doesn't save the nirdaf by shooting for the legs, by what we call echad meivarav, then he's put to death. So therefore, the Mishnah in Masechet Ksubis is a reflection of the following scenario. He could have saved the nirdaf without killing the rodef. And in such a case, there's no chiyuv misa, hence you pay the knas. So Gemara explains, my time of the Rabbi Yonasan ben Shol, from whence did Rabbi Yonasan derive his conclusion that if you could save him with, as we call this, shooting for the legs, that's what you have to do. The Chsiv, in the parsha of V'nogfu Isha Hara, it says, V'chinotzu anoshim yachdav. And then it says, V'nogfu Isha Hara, V'yotzi Yoledeo, Noshi Anesh, Kasher Yashis Alav, Baal Isha, Baal Ha'isha. So while there was a brawl, a battle, we'll call it a boxing match between these two people, one of them smacked a pregnant woman and she lost the child now. He has to pay the Baal, the husband, Dmei Vlodos. The Amar Abelazar, to explain this pasuk, he says, B'matzus shebemisa kosev b'daber. We're talking about a case where a person tried to kill his friend by hitting him very hard, but mistakenly, instead of hitting his friend over the head, he hit this woman. And how do I know that this person who accidentally hit this woman was involved in a chiyuv misa, meaning he was trying to kill somebody? The Chsiv, and in the very next pasuk it says, "V'imason yiyeh v'nasato nefesh tachas nefesh." If this woman died as a result of the blow, then he will be killed as a rotzeach. What does that mean? He's killed as a rotzeach. After all, he was involved in a brawl, in a match, and he hit this woman inadvertently, unintentionally. So why, if she dies, is he chayiv misa? And how do I know he's chayiv misa? Because it says in the pasuk, "Mason yiyeh," if she dies, v'nasata nefesh tachas nefesh, then he will be put to death as a rotzeach. And the answer to this is because he intended to kill his friend. And even if he didn't have intention to kill this person, but he had intention to kill another person, and he accidentally killed the second person, b'shogeg, not the one that he wanted to kill, So do we put him to death? If the whole thing was bishkaga and he didn't intend to kill anyone, clearly we don't put him to death. But here's a case of the matzus shebemisa kosum that he did intend to kill someone. And the word matzus is another word for mariva. So they were in a mariva, they were in a very difficult battle, a confrontation. And he ended up killing the wrong person. Because again, we have to say that he was amazed and he really intended to kill the person he was fighting with, because otherwise he's a shkaga. And even though he killed a woman, he would not be put to death. He was a shogeg. All right, so what does this have to do with Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul? Afilu hachi amar rachmana. In other words, even though he had kavana to kill someone, he's a rodev, nevertheless the Torah says, v'lo yason, if she didn't die, she just lost the fetus, is anoshi anesh, which means he has to pay money for the fetus. Kigon sheyochel atzilo be'echad meidvarav. Ela amrit yochel atzilo be'echad meidvarav nami. Nitan latzilo b'nafsho hechi mishkachas le'di yonesh. Yonesh means he pays Dmei Velados. How can he be paying Dmei Velados if he's a rodev? He has a chiv misa, and then he doesn't incur a chiv moment to pay for the Velados as a rodev. So we have to come up with a scenario in which this rodev is not a rodev, meaning we can't kill him, and therefore he has to pay Dmei Velados, and there's no kimlev derabim, and that's onesh yonesh. So the Gemara is suggesting that according to Rabbi Yonasan, the only scenario he could come up with where this person who had a deliberate intention to kill his friend, and he accidentally killed a woman, so he's amazing, and yet he's not a rodev. How could that be? A man has deliberate intention to kill someone, and he's not a rodev? And therefore, if he inadvertently kills the Vlad, he's going to have to pay for Vlados because he's not a rodev and there's no kimlev rabbi, but he's running after his friend to kill him, and this deliberately, intentionally, he's a rodev. Why is he not a rodev? Why is there no chiv misa? And the only answer Rabbi Yonasan could come up with is it's yachal latzilo b'echad meivara. That we didn't have to put this guy to death in order to save the nirdaf. We're going to save the nirdaf even without killing the rodev. So when it says the nefesh tachas nefesh, that is a capital punishment that results from the mazid and his intention to kill someone, even though he killed a different person, is nefesh tachas nefesh. But if she doesn't die, and he kills the Vlados, he has to pay Dmei Vlados, even though he was a Rodef. So the answer is, Yachal Atzilo B'echad Meivara. There's no Chiyav Misa in a scenario in which we could prevent the Ritzicha by shooting for his legs. And therefore, the dinam of a Rodef for the Chiyav Misa does not apply because it's not Yachal Atzilo B'echad Meivara. Mele, I understand the pasuk of Imlo Ason Onoshiyonish. If she survives it, then since he killed the Vlados, he pays for the Vlados. He's a Rodev. And if she dies, he'll be killed. The answer is and therefore he doesn't have the din of a rotiv. So now the Gemara wants to reject Rabbi Yonason's proof. Dilma shani hacha to misa lazeh v'tashlum lazeh. Why is he chayav misa as a rodef? Because he intended to kill his friend Shimon, let's call it. And why is he chayav mamon if he kills the Vlados? That's a chiyuv to the Baal, the father of these Vlados, because it's like his loss. So the chiyuv misa is because of Shimon, meaning Reuven is threatening to kill Shimon. The chiyuv mamon, meaning the tashlumin of anoshi onesh, of Dmei Vlados, is to pay Levi. Levi is a different party. Levi is the one who's married to this one. And in such a case, we don't say we don't apply the principle of Kim Levi the Rabbanan. So again, we could say that there's a din of a rodef even if Yachal Atzilo be'echad meivarav. The Gemara apparently is pushing for that position. You'll ask me, why does he pay Dvei Vlados? Why not apply the principle of Kim Levi Rabbanan? The answer is we have a limitation rule in Kim Levi Rabbanan in which the Chiyuv Tashlume Mammon and the Chiyuv Misa have to be for the same purpose, for the same person. So the Chiyuv Misa here is vis-a-vis Shimon, who he's trying to kill, and he's being rodef. And the Chiyuv Mammon is vis-a-vis the couple to collect Dmei Vlados. And we don't apply the principle of Kim Lev the Ram. And the Gemara doesn't like it. The Gemara is now rejecting the rejection, which means we're getting back to Rabbi Yonason's proof and substantiating it. Loshna. There's no difference between Misa Lazeh v'Tashlumin Liacher or Misa Lazeh v'Tashlumin Lazeh. Tiyomar Rava Rodev Shaya Rodev Achar Chavero V'Shiber Asakelim, says Rava Bein Kelim Shel Nirdaf Bein Kelim Shel Kol Adam Potter by Taima Mifnei Shemischayv B'Nafsh. So again, we have a Misa Lazeh v'Tashlumin Lazeh. While he was a Rodev, he broke someone else's Kelim, not the Kelim of the Nirdaf. So his chiyuv mamon is klape that other person. We'll call him Levi. He's pot. Because since at the time that he was rodef achar chavero, you'd be allowed to kill him, then at that moment he's potter from any chiyuv mamon. Kim Levi the Rabbi. Even though it's misa, he's a chiyuv misa klapi the nirdaf, and a chiyuv mamon klapi the bailim who own that keli. So we see that Kim Levi the Rabbi has a wider and a broader application than we thought, and it applies even in misa lezeh, v'tashlum lezeh. And now we swing back to the proof of Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul. That even though the chiyuv rodef is klape Shimon because Reuven is running after Shimon to kill him, and the chiyuv tmei v'lados is klape the Baal and the Isha, nevertheless we still apply Kim Levi. One Maisa cannot generate both a chiyuv misa and a chiyuv mama if this is simultaneous, even if it's misa lezeh, the mama lezeh. So this is where we'll stop for today. And maybe I can ask you as a favor, I don't have a pencil here, but I forgot one, just to tell me where we got up to here on Daf Ayin Dalid Amud Aleph, the words V'nirdaf Sheshiber Es Hakelu. So I guess, Steve, I wish you a Felchen Purim.
You too. Thank you.
If it's Hashem, we'll see each other on Thursday.